And this is our time where we really get to practice mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, so here is a summary of what each of those words mean. The first one is the word mean. So the mean is the average. To find an average, we have this symbol. It's an X with a little bar above it. Instead of writing the word mean, you can just use that little symbol. To find it, you add up all of the scores that you've been given and you divide by the number of scores that you have. And that's how you find an average. Okay? Next one, median. Median stands for the middle. So you have to make sure that all of your scores are in order. It says that here, put them in order from smallest to biggest. And the middle, to find the middle, the most common way to do it is just cross off from the beginning, cross off from the end. Cross off from the beginning, cross off from the end. And it narrows it down until eventually you have that one number left and the median is 11. Now, if you're crossing off, so cross off beginning, cross off end, cross off beginning, cross off end. If you're crossing off and you go, oh, I've only got 2 left, I can't cross any more off. If there is 2 left in the middle, you have to average them to find the median, which means you add them together, 7 plus 8, and you divide by 2 because there's 2 scores, which means that the median will be 7.5. Okay? All right, the next one, mode. Mode stands for most, and I think this one's the easiest one to remember because they both start with MO, mode and most. Okay? So you're looking for the score that happens the most in your set of data. Now, it is possible that there is no mode, and that means that no score is repeated. If you have a look at these scores here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35, no score happens more than once. So that would be no mode. But as soon as you have something happening more than once, so this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, that means the 5 is going to be the mode. But what happens if 2 numbers happen the most? Then you can actually have 2 modes. It's called bimodal. And that's this one here. We have 2 3s and 2 5s. What happens if I had 2 3s and 3 5s? Then only the 5 is the mode. It's the one that has the most. It's only if they equally have the same amount that it's 2 modes. Okay? All right, the next one is the range. The range is the highest score that you have in your data minus the lowest score. Okay, so if you went back to these scores up here, it'd be 35 minus 1, so the range would be 34. Okay, so that's just briefly going through each of them. Now we get to practice finding them. So here it is. Question number 1. For this set of scores, here's my set of scores. I need to find the mean, median, mode, and range. You have to remember what those words mean or have them clearly written down on your study sheet. You need to know them, okay? So the mean is the average. You all right?
Yeah, I put it in the calculator. How many decimals do you...
Oh, okay. Yeah, 1 or 2. Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to use our mean symbol, and you are going to add together all of those scores that are on the top. So grab your calculator. 12 plus 16 plus 13 plus 14 plus 11 plus 15 plus 20 equals
101.
101. Thank you, Ethan. So that's the sum of the scores. On the bottom is the number of scores. It's how many scores there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to divide by 7. Now, you type that in your calculator, and that equals 14 point... How many decimal places did you do, Ethan?
14.43.
43. Excellent. So you do need to round these often. So if it doesn't specify, 1 or 2 decimal places is fine. Okay, so that's the mean. Median. Do you remember what median is?
The middle.
The middle. But they have to be in order. Are those scores in order?
No.
No, so we have to rewrite them. So the smallest number is 11, then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 20. Was going so nicely in order there for a while. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just making sure I haven't missed any. So to find the median, we cross off from the beginning and the end. Cross that one and that one. Crossing off 1. Cross off 2. Cross off 3. And that leaves one number left in the middle, which is 14. So there's no symbol for median. You just have to write the word. Median equals 14.
Can we just go equals 14?
No.
Part C, mode. What does mode represent?
How the most common score.
Most, good. Do I have any score there happening more than once?
No.
No. So that's a no mode situation. And range. Remember that the range, yes, is the highest minus the lowest. My highest score was 20, and I want to subtract my lowest score, which was 11, so the range is 9. Now you will find that often the mean, the median, and the mode, or there's no mode for this one, these ones are often very similar in size because they're all ways of approximating the center of the data. So you can see the 14.43 and 14, they were very close. But range is measuring how spread out the scores are, so it is usually different, very different from the others. So let's practice that again. Question 2, we want to do exactly the same stuff. Mean, median, mode, and range. So first of all, the mean is the average. We want to add up all the scores. Add them all up, get your calculator. What do you get?
4.4.
That's the final answer. What happens when you add them up?
44.
Yes. And then you divide that by how many scores we have. How many scores are in that list? 10. Excellent. 44 divided by 10 is 4.4. So there's my average. There's my mean. Now for the median, which represents the middle, I need them in order. So let's rewrite the list. The smallest number is a 2. Then there's 2 3s, a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 5s, and then 2 6s. Okay, make sure you don't miss any numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, still got all 10 of them. To find the middle, we start crossing off. Crossing 1 from each end. 2 and the 6 get crossed off. 3 and the 6 get crossed off. 3 and a 5 get crossed off. 4 and a 5 get crossed off. And now I only have 2 numbers left. I can't cross them off. Because there is 2 numbers, you average them. So the median will be equal to 5 plus 5 divided by 2. But because they're both 5s, that actually equals 5, which totally makes sense, I hope, that the average of 5 and 5 is 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's too many 5s on 7.
Too many 5s. So if there's 2 in the middle, you add them together and divide by 2. Part C, the mode stands for most. Most occurring. Which number happens the most? The 5. There was 4 of them. There was also 2 3s, but there was only 2 of them. There was more 5s, so the 5 is the most. The range. Oh, by the way, look at those numbers. 4.4, 5, and 5. They were all pretty close together, weren't they? The range is the highest, which was 6, minus the lowest, which was 2. So that's a range of 4. Okay, so that is the next section. You can now have a start of 9G as well, and that will go a long way to catching us back up.